Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Left Unsaid, back again with another bop breakdown for this week. I've tried a few times to record this, but unfortunately this project is a lot of stuff going on, so it kept crashing. So I literally froze up every single track just about in here, and we'll just kind of go over a few of the main things, try to get to as much as possible. There's definitely some cool sound design in here. I had the past few days off, so I got to, spend a lot of time working on music, or my own music, I should say, lately, which has been great. Side note, there was actually just an earthquake, just a little one here in LA just a few seconds ago, so hoping we don't get any aftershocks. But anyways, let's get into this. So we got the sample starting off. That's kind of what I started with, obviously. Got a nice chord progression. I just didn't use the last chord. I just did the first three standard one bar progression, so just filters in. And it's pitched down 3. This is in C sharp minor, so I moved it from E down to there. And then processing wise, it's pretty basic, just like a parallel chain with like a dotted 8th note delay, chorus, reverb, OTT, and then that kind of band pass that automates up throughout the track. And then I took a little reverse of this chord hit and put it here, so you get that like sweet little like auto pan overdrive on there. And then the first thing you hear is this kind of trap horn, definitely RL Ground inspired lead. It's from Diva. Yep, definitely a good sound. I'm going to use that again for sure. Saved it as a rack. It's just got the lead synth rack, some RC20, Camel Crusher, Saturn, a couple Saturns, delay, and then like some filter automation throughout the song. Got a pad here. Couldn't tell you where that's from. Might have made it. It's just like a kind of airy tone. And then this, the respace. Gotta love a good respace. So that's honestly it for the synths for now. As I mentioned in that comment, I actually sampled one of Harry's tunes, like that Party Favor Baauer collab, this MDR vocal. So those are like the vocals from here. I was going to use more of it, but I just wanted to put a little bit in there. I just like this stuff. Just like a little good. There's some good chants in there. And then I took the rhythm of the original and swapped it with like a different tone, kind of a somatic sample. Yep. And then just some Cashmere reverse. That's it for the vocals, pretty much. And as you can see, like, I don't know if you watched my last bop battle, but in case not, I use this exact template every song. Sometimes I don't use all the elements if I'm going to make something, more laid back or just less going on. Sometimes you don't need a sub. Sometimes you don't need the side chain. Sometimes I don't use drops in. Sometimes there's no drop. It's just a tune with vocals, like more of a pop alternative song. Obviously, you wouldn't need drop synths, but for these purposes, definitely do. I got everything routed to the sidechain bus. I got my sidechain rack. As I said before in the last breakdown, I got a lot of racks. I definitely rely on racks. That's my favorite part about Ableton for sure. And I put a whole bunch of them in the share samples section of the Discord. So if you missed those, definitely go check those out. There's some useful stuff in there. And if there's anything from this specific project you want, I'm totally open to just giving away whatever. So yeah, let's go down to some of these effects. Just they're all frozen. There's not really any processing, but just to save CPU load, I wanted to freeze everything. So you just kind of have standard ambience, sweeps. I like this here. It's like a super stretched electrical static type sound. So yeah, we go. Oh yeah, the break. Can't forget the break. I forget what sample. Oh, it's the champagne drip break. Pretty much nothing else done to it except for sending it straight to the drum reverb. I didn't go over these last time, but I sometimes use sends. I always use like these two, like a large verb and a drum verb. Sometimes I use more later in the mix, or if I'm doing a vocal mix, I'll use more. But the large verb just has I boost the input going into the reverb, and then take the same out, just so. Because I don't know if you know, but like when you push like a good volume for a send, you're not going to max it out. You're going to put it at like, halfway or less sometimes. And in case there are not enough signals getting to that reverb, it's not going to sound as full. So I usually boost the signal going into the verb, and then duck it back out the same. This is just a Pro R vocal hall large standard preset, and then the Abbey Road EQ standard cutoff around like 200-300, roll off around 7 to 10K somewhere, just whatever. And then I sidechain the reverb to the trigger kick. And then the drum verb, same deal, but just no sidechain because it's for the drums. And then it's just an overhead drum preset, really short decay. Sounds like those. Just kind of sounds like the drums are in the other room, kind of puts them in a space. Yeah, let's keep it moving. Got the build up. Just a loop part of the break. Actually, don't know where the rest of the build up is happening. Oh, it's in it's in the build group, obviously. Just a sample. I don't know. Boombox Cartel sample. Definitely fit very well for this. And then the drop synths start to filter in. So like these chords come in here, like flutters. This is like a super RL Grime thing to do. I hear it in a lot of his tunes. It's like that kind of gated trancey saw. And then this is like a resample of the drop, probably. Just like filtering in as it builds. These. Right, this is that pluck. This has a lot of processing. Oh my god. I'm probably not going to go into that because if I unfreeze that, that's probably going to crash my shit. But basically, it's just a sampler. It's like a kalimba pluck, and then just way too much processing. Probably not even necessary. I just wanted a lot of transients to poke through. So I use like this max live transient shaper and then a bunch of distortion, saturation, and compression. And then that's the only thing of the drop that's filtering in there, and then that trap horn lead still goes. It works its way up. Chords keep going from the original sample. Yeah, I actually got the main bass line just from these chords that happens in the drop, so I ended up really liking this bass line a lot. So let's get into the drop. Yeah, this one would definitely smack at a show, no doubt. So yeah, we got the lead group and the mids group. So I'll go over the leads by itself. Sounds like this. So just kind of like a call and response type thing. The trance saw is still going. We got this vocal type lead, which is a Serum vocal preset from somewhere, and then just distorting it. Alter Boy, probably an octave up. The bass design, this lead maker rack. All these racks are in the Discord. Low cut, and then this is kind of a cool trick. I don't need to unfreeze it to show you or anything, but it's just you take a parallel rack. This one's dry. This one has it's like just the very top end. Like you see, it's rolled off at almost 8K, and then this is technically doing like a ring mod type thing because the rate's so high that it kind of makes it just. It just adds like a kind of a crisp stutter type white noise effect to the top end. It's definitely a cool trick. And then this arp that's going, which is another Serum preset. It's just the downward style classic arpeggiator. And on this group, obviously you heard those reverb throws, so I just have this reverb throw rack that's just automating every bar or so. Sausage fattener, soothe, low cut, and then some volume automation. That's about it for that. This is a cool sound. I can unfreeze this one, maybe. So to make a lot of like Reese's, I really love like neuro Reese sound design, even though I don't use it in a lot of my songs. I mean, I do a little bit, but to be honest, it's one of my favorite kinds of sound designs because it's like you can spend so long just like tweaking, and there's so many variations you can get out of just like random manipulation and adding even more plugins, just starting from basic wavetables. So I usually start from like sine waves or square waves or saw waves, and then just a super basic patch. This was probably starting in Serum, and then I moved a resample segment of it into here, and this is the final product. But so if I take all this off, so it's probably saws in Serum that I just like made a Reese with, dragged it into a sampler, and then I mapped the cutoff to the cutoff, wherever that is, here, right there, and then the wobble is going to the pitch envelope, or to the pitch LFO, sorry. And I'm just automating that. So that's why you're getting those, yeah, see, there it is. And then if I put all this bass design, disperser, bass effects rack, and saturator, this moving notch, this is controlling this, basically. Another band pass getting automated. Neutron EQ, saturator, this washout, and a filter. Freeze that back up, and you get cool Reese sound. These are just like little flutters, white noise. And then the fun part is the mid bass, obviously. This is a preset that I made probably a long time ago, but it's just like these like power chords. It's like a low bass note with like a fifth oscillator on top of that. And then it's going into bass design, bass effects rack. You notice I do a lot of similar processing on a lot of stuff. Kind of looks trippy with like the Max for Live effects, like because it lags out. Anyway, and then this is getting side chained to this. I mean, it's already cut and volume automated down, but they're what do you call it, counterpoints, or like they're like, you know, they complement each other well. The bass line just walks down in scale, like it hits that A all the way down to the C sharp, and then the bass switches in the B section, so you get this one. Just a, you know, different tone slightly. So now together. Oh, sorry. Yeah, definitely enjoy that one. Just making sure this is still recording. Yeah, okay. That's just like a little sine wave sample. Ooh, there we go. That's what I was waiting for. That's what I was scared of. Anyway, we got these probably horns. Yeah. They're like serum horns. Kind of nice. And then, yeah, that hairy sample, this one. It's from the box. Yeah. The drums kind of make this drop, honestly. Like, the sound design is good, but the drums are really what helps it, you know, keeps it moving. It's a super punchy kick. It's from kick 2. Made that with, you know, the drum bus, some trial and error compression, I guess. Turned it all off. And then this snare I also made in kick 2. I just resampled it. I used this in a lot of like trap, like hybrid trap type stuff. It's really good. It's got a really good transient and a good tone. Kind of like a hollow sound, and then I layered it with some other samples. They just kind of have like airier tones, like more reverb, so they kind of like create accent hits. Obviously, this one's so loud that it's kind of almost irrelevant. But anyways, we got some like kind of Foley, kind of sweeps into the snares. Some hats. Usually with the hats, I'll do this glue compressor where I sidechain it to the drum, so the kick and the snare are obviously going to have the most impact. So they kind of duck out of the way of the kick and snare. Let me solo the drums. Yeah, the hi-hats are there. Just froze the loop that I made. Kind of did some volume automation, as you can see. And then on the hats, I just got like a frequency shifter, stereoize high end, which is like the Haas effect, and then even another Haas effect after that. So, like without it, it's kind of just kind of puts it off to the side. This is just a loop that I made from another song that I just dragged in. I kind of like the reverse sweeps that they have. What's this? Just some more samples, like adding to the rhythm, you know. The gun cock. The CDJ backspin. Little break. Classic. See anything else in the drums? That's about it. On the breakdown, this like eighth note or quarter note flat comes in. Keeps it pushing. It just breaks down, kind of back to the intro, except for it goes into like a kind of a second verse. I have another version of this where I made the whole song. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with it, but I made a second drop that's kind of slightly different, and then a second build up and everything. But I capped it at 2 minutes for the stream. But I do like this part though. This would be a cool like section to have like a rapper on or some kind of vocals maybe. So just kind of going off that same chord progression from Hudmo. It's got, and then layered it with these. It's kind of a different tone, more of like a lower tone. These are from Omnisphere. It's an Omnisphere preset. Let's see if I can see what it is. Whistler's Bells. Probably untouched. Just standard preset. Just added some RC20, some EQ, boosted those highs a little bit. Like that sound. And then we also got this pluck. I have this rack called Drolo Plucks. I don't know if you know Drolo, but they are super dope, and it kind of reminds me of like stuff that they do. It's like that music box type sound. Nice organic sound. I use this a lot too. It's a good preset. And other than that, it's all pretty much the same, and then we just get the fade out. Classic fade out. For the master, I realized I didn't go over the master in my last breakdown, but when I master like for other people, or when I do like mastering for my main project stuff, I'll usually spend a little more time on it and getting it right and everything, like tonal balancing and dynamics and making sure everything's perfect. But obviously most of it is in the mix. That's like a huge thing. Like people are always assuming that like the perfect master chain is going to just save your songs, but that's really not the case at all. But yeah, I always do this like high pass mid side EQ. This is also a part of my template. It just loads up. I just mix with this on. Doesn't make too big of a difference other than keeping everything below. It says 240, but since it's a low 12 dB shelf, it's probably more around like 100, 150 or so. Everything below that's mono. I usually do this in Pro Q, just because I can do that like linear phase mode that, you know, sounds a little cleaner and less risk of phasing. And then this DC filter, I don't know if you guys know about this, but honestly, scientifically speaking, I can't remember exactly what it does. But what I do know is that it reduces the strain of the low end when it hits the limiter. It kind of, you know, DC filters it out by the time it hits the limiter. So it doesn't actually change the audible or the way you feel the low end. It just somehow makes it so when you hit that limiter, it's actually not putting as much power in the low end, because obviously when you hit a limiter, the lower frequencies are going to make it work harder. So I can't remember exactly where I learned about this or who told me about this, but I'm sure someone in the chat probably knows what I'm talking about. But DC filtering, some other plugins have it, like more fancier mastering plugins specialize with that. But and then this Pro Q, just kind of ducking those thick low mids a little bit, and then just that dynamic on the top. The Soothe, which really isn't doing much at all, to be honest. Wouldn't make too much of a difference either way. And then just the limiter. Push like a dB, dB and a half. That should be set to negative 0.1. Forgot to do that. Sometimes negative 0.2 to be safe. And yeah, make sure true peak limiting's on. I also usually use this because my shit's usually loud for stuff like this, so practically clipping is a good preset. It kind of puts the attack all the way up, reads all the way down, so it's just clipping. It's not, you're not going to get any weird like pumping from the limiter. If you push it too hard, it's just going to chop it off, so gotta be kind of careful with it, but as long as the mix is good, you shouldn't need to drive this too hard at all. Yeah, I could do, if you guys want more mastering info, I can definitely like open up a different project that has a lot more, it's like a full-blown mastering session. I can go into more depth with that, but just let me know. And again, sorry, like everything's frozen. I would go into more sound design, but I think my computer would crash, to be honest. I don't want that, so. Yeah, if there's anything I missed, feel free to let me know. But otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed my bop, and I definitely look forward to the sample coming up for next week. So yeah, catch you guys on the stream. Have a good one. Peace.